Hi, this is Phil Newman from Longevity.Technology, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by the founders of ARDD, now going to be in its 10th year, Alex Zhavoronkov and Morten Scheibye-Knudsen. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey.
Great pleasure to be with you.
Oh, well, very excited about this event. And, it's obviously year on year, it's getting bigger and bigger. And looking at the roster of speakers as well as your supporters, it's obviously going to be a very big year this year. And the agenda's been published, and there's quite a lot of interesting stuff on there. And I guess one of the things that really came out was the question about what is needed to translate geroscience into the clinic, which of course is a big subject for many of us. So interested to know what you guys might think we might learn this year.
Morten?
Yeah, so I think it's a really exciting program this year. We have expanded the Longevity Medicine Day to it was a workshop last year, now it's a full day. And I think this is one of the most exciting developments in the field that we're really progressing to human interventions. And so this is I think will become a bigger and bigger focus in the aging field in the coming years. So I hope that we can help spearhead that development a little bit. Great.
Alex, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Well, Morten is the authority here because he is actually not just PhD, he is MD PhD. And that's a very rare find in our industry. So coupled with his good looks, I think that's
and great hair.
So that's one of the very unique examples of how biogerontologists should develop nowadays. So it's very important to kind of dance back from the physician, because the industry is not going to move faster than the physicians do. And we need to ensure that we stay within the realm of credible and within the realm of the traditional drug discovery and development without skipping clinical trials. And it's great to see that now some of the biotechnology companies that are developing dual purpose therapeutics targeting aging and disease at the same time are entering human clinical trials. We see this, the brave new world of longevity biotechnology finally coming to fruition. So, and again, thanks to the ARDD conference, we have the ability to bring together pharma, ultra credible academics, and investors together to build this new exciting industry and see the translational exercises, first early birds of drugs going from discovery into human clinical trials.
Great. And of course, there's a big focus this year on decentralized science and blockchain in aging research, which of course is a very exciting area. Morten, I know you were going to be speaking recently on NFT IP, which is a very interesting subject. So do you think this is going to be more relevant than ever now in our industry, or is this still a niche as far as drug discovery is concerned?
I think this is something that's growing. It's definitely not mainstream at all yet. But I think this is an interesting approach to try to get more funding into this field. So this is, I think, a very important way to do it, that we can engage some of the more forward-thinking individuals, for example, in the crypto space, that are quite wealthy. And so that can actually lead to real meaningful change, because a lot of funding can be funneled into startups and into new research directions. So for that reason, I think it's important, but it's far from mainstream yet. But it's an interesting development.
Yeah, it's a complex approach in many respects, because you've got such rigorous structures in traditional venture capital and translation. I guess that's an NFT IP. Perhaps could you give us a quick definition of what one of those is?
Yeah, so this is a non-fungible token. So it's like a piece of data that exists on a blockchain. So that means that it can't really be changed, and there's you can trace sort of what happens to it. And so we did together with VitaDAO, this first IP NFT. So this was an NFT where the intellectual property of a molecule was attached to this NFT. So that means that whoever holds the NFT owns the IP. So I think that was the I think that's an interesting approach. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is very interesting. And I guess that, moving more perhaps into the traditional sphere, we've got Michael Ringel from Boston Consulting Group joining, which obviously is, again, another one on the roster of great speakers. And he's talking about the emerging commercial landscape for aging and biology-based therapeutics. And I guess that it's a hot topic, right? Alex, as you've already said, we've got in-human trials now. The funding marketplace. I mean, a lot of investors in the audience at ARDD. The funding landscape is challenging. Is this the time for big pharma to go bargain hunting, or is this the time for them to get into longevity? How do you see that shaping up? What do you think Michael might be saying?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, it's great to have Michael at ARDD for the second time. BCG is of course, the world's greatest brand in strategy consulting. And Michael spent 25 years at BCG in pharma. So having somebody like that who saw this industry evolve from scratch, deliver a keynote on how on the recent trends over the past year, is pretty substantial, gives us a lot of credibility, and also exposes BCG to actually the thought leaders in the field as well. I think that Michael is going to build on what he presented last year. So last year he presented a large number of examples where he expects, and the BCG expects, the industry to grow. So they presented industry segmentation. They demonstrated the most promising startups in the field. Extremely happy to see ours among the list of the leaders. And he is going to talk about how pharma is likely to adopt to this changing environment, talk about maybe some of their projects, because I'm not sure what he sees from his vantage point. I see that many pharmaceutical companies are now using aging research as a platform internally to understand the biological processes that transpire in time, including in CNS diseases, for example, in muscle wasting, opening new opportunities in skin and eye diseases. And in terms of the bargain hunting, I think that we've went through the cycle of hype in biotech in general. So the last couple of years have been phenomenal in terms of fundraising for biotechnology companies. And then suddenly, over the past maybe 9 months, the capital dried up, and many biotechnology companies dropped in value quite a bit, especially those that jumped onto the public markets prematurely or just got too much capital without any substance. So now it's a very clear landscape where you can see who the winners are and who the losers are. I don't think pharma is bargain shopping for aging research projects yet, because they still need to build internal expertise in order to go bargain hunting. And we have not seen clear clinical success stories in this field, but I think we're closer. And I hope that Michael is going to talk about how closer did we get in this year, and what are the most emerging potential areas.
Great. Well, obviously looking forward to that. And another speaker, Matt Kaberlein, is going to be talking about rapamycin really as from a 21st century perspective. And I guess interested to know from both of you whether you feel, rapamycin, is it still Longevity's key drug for the future, or is it going to be one of those that's perhaps going to fit with the others now and maybe less important as we thought it was in the past?
I think that rapamycin probably has an effect. I'm not sure if this will be the only drug. I think that there are probably many potential drugs that can be explored. The main issue with rapamycin, of course, is the potential side effects, which again is something that the clinical community thinks a lot about. And for that reason, it's going to be very difficult to persuade clinicians to test something like rapamycin, I think, in the grander scheme of things. Here, I think clinicians would be more inclined to test metformin, which has a much milder side effect profile. So there are these concerns that maybe rapamycin has a stronger effect on aging. But imagine you run a trial and an elderly person passes away because of immune suppression. This would be a disaster for the field. So we have to think very, very carefully about how we design trials, and rapamycin could be one of them, but we just have to be very careful, I think.
Yeah, indeed. Alex, what are your thoughts?
So I'm a little bit more optimistic about rapamycin in general. I think that it's proven to work and extend life in multiple animals, and so far it's the only therapeutic that that does have a known safety profile, and at the same time works in multiple animal models. And we do have at least some basic understanding of how it works, even though I think even after a couple of decades, we are still uncertain about all of the mechanisms of action and side effects, both positive and negative of this drug. But it's a clear dual purpose therapeutic. It clearly extends life in mice, and combined with acarbose, it actually provides dramatic life extension. I don't think that side effects are as significant as Morten just described, so I think it's pretty mild. And there's been a few clinical trials on everolimus, which is very similar to sirolimus. It's like tiny difference in the molecule, was pretty much patent busting, in my opinion, by Novartis of a Pfizer drug. And RAD001, everolimus has been tested in the elderly for vaccine potentiation. Unfortunately, the company that ran the trial did not do any aging biomarkers and did not even try to do that. I hope that any trial in the future that will be run by maybe even the same people who ran the first everolimus trial will be potentiated and substantiated by a variety of aging biomarkers instead of just focusing on the outcome measures for, let's say, vaccine potentiation. So I think the people who fundraise for that as a longevity project or longevity projects will be true to their word and will be using aging biomarkers. Because last time when Restore Bio failed, for example, I approached them several times about using aging biomarkers that we've developed or somebody else, just to ensure that we have some evidence that there is age reversal on some level, because there is not a single biomarker that measures everything. And I think that there is definitely caution to be exercised with rapamycin for many other reasons, not only just side effects. One possible side effects that we might see would be it in theory should delay cancer, but I think that once the precancerous and cancerous cells get exposed to rapamycin in casual setting, when people are using rapamycin off-label and for longevity, some of the cells may get addicted to rapamycin and will not respond to some of the anti-cancer treatments, including rapamycin. So I think if any of the trials progress with rapamycin, patients should be observed, or healthy volunteers should be observed and monitored for cancer.
So, guys, you've got a investing in longevity panel. Be interested to know, as with obviously such a very mixed audience of big pharma, many VCs, and so on. What the points are that you'll be making to the audience?
So sure. This year we've got the news editor of Nature Biotechnology moderating, which is great. And Alyssa Melton is phenomenal and has been following this field for a very long time. So I would actually be very interested to see and hear what she has to say. And how she's going to moderate the panel. We're going to have some of the world's most prominent investors in longevity on the panel. Many of them are sponsoring the conference. It's truly the place, the go-to place for investors and biotechnology companies and academics to come together and help build the industry. I think that we're going to see much discussion about some of the mega investments that have been made in this industry over the past couple of years. I'm not going to name the exact companies, but there's been a very substantial amount of money invested in reprogramming and into cell therapy and multiple alternative technologies that might expedite progress in this field, might not, so we don't know. We're likely to talk about the pharma attitude to investing in longevity and how, what kind of activities do pharmaceutical companies explore for longevity research and how they use aging research as a platform. So because, of course, VCs are surveying the pharma to understand what the exit strategies are for some of their investments. We're likely to see discussions about platform technologies that are available nowadays for testing and developing of new longevity interventions. And we're likely to talk about the funding trends because for funds, because now there are sovereign funds that started to get into the field. And some of them invest directly, some of them invest through funds, some of them have alternative strategies where they have dedicated fund managers exploring the field and exploring the different funding opportunities in the space. So we would be very interested in that specific panel. So you might want to cover it in Longevity.Technology, as you always do. And this year, we are going to see much more interest in this field because we just recently launched the Investing in Longevity 101 course, education course. That's very popular among the investment community. So people who take this course, they're also aware of the ARDD. And I'm really hoping to see many of them attend the conference. And just for reference, for anybody who got this far in our interview, promotional interview for ARDD, for anybody watching, you can go to www.longevity.degree and take the free course, Investing in Longevity. So actually, Phil was one of the key people behind the course. To get educated and realize that this industry is not new and there's been a very large number of failures in the past. And there are minefields that are out there for any longevity investor. And to ensure that you don't step on the same mine twice or in the same type of mine twice, you should take this course. And you should come to ARDD and listen to what the experts have to say.
100%. Well, I'm a big fan of the course, Alex, as you can imagine. So yeah, I think we'll make sure there's a link in the article. And just as we wrap up, Morten, this is like 10 years in now. So I guess you've seen it all, but it must be very exciting going into this 10th year with such a big momentum. What are you looking forward to at this year's event?
So, I mean, I just want to highlight that Alex started this event, and I came in, I think, on the 5th or something like that, and have been helping running it. No,
you cannot say that, Morten, because so I've been, I started it, but once Morten took over, and he is the true clear leader here by far, spending enormous amounts of time and energy, and we kind of call it the Copenhagen Mafia now, right? Because or Copenhagen Longevity Mafia, where he is utilizing an enormous network globally to bring together top experts and monitor every single detail that goes on in this industry, bringing people together. So please don't give me any credit for founding it, because Morten is the true hero behind this ARDD revolution. But it's phenomenal. We have never expected so many people. Again, everybody is going to be there. So if you are not there, you are not in the industry. Sorry.
Yeah. And one thing that I'm actually really excited about, that we're also getting politicians involved now. So we have a minister, a Danish minister for senior citizens that will come, which means that this is also a way to label what we're doing in the right way, that we're getting politicians involved, and they are, I think, starting to understand how important this is for societies also going forward, because we are getting smaller birth cohorts. There are fewer young people that will take care of more elderly individuals. So it will become more and more important, of course, to be able to maintain health as we get older. So that's, I think, why the politicians are also starting to look at this, and I'm really excited about that, because that there are two ways that you can get big change in societies. One is for a big pharma company to discover a blockbuster drug. The other way is for a government to decide that we need to invest in healthy longevity, because the money is just much larger when you're at government level. So I'm really super excited about that also.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Well, a great note to finish on, and of course, we'll make sure that all of our readers and viewers know where to go to get their tickets. So, guys, thanks for joining us today, and look forward to seeing you in August.
Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you so much. And just final note: it's 100% non-profit, 100% run by the University of Copenhagen. I am personally donating to the conference. Insilico is sponsoring. There are many, many, many great sponsors that we need to thank. So many of them are here on the list, and please do look at them on the company website and prospectus. We, of course, welcome many more sponsors. And again, it's a very transparent conference. Every penny that the conference receives goes into the program. And every year it gets better and better and better. We encourage everybody to register early, because it looks like the capacity for the conference is limited, and we might need to stop registrations prematurely, because just again, the conference is going to sell out. The main hall is already sold out pretty much. So register early and register online if you cannot travel. It's an extremely exciting event. You learn so much, but nothing replaces being there physically. The atmosphere that you're experiencing, the community, the bars after the conference, is phenomenal. So don't drink if you are a longevity enthusiast, but you can hang out with some of the best people in informal setting, share ideas, form new companies, and take this journey for longevity, because longevity is the most altruistic thing anyone can engage in, because if you extend everybody's life but just 1 year, you created 8 billion life years, more than any doctor has ever saved in their lifetime.
Great. Alex, Morten, thanks, guys. See you in August.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Morten. Great to see you.